Hello guys, welcome to the channel, and as you probably know, today is a really sad day. This is a really hard video to make because this news is very fresh in my mind. What you obviously probably know is that today, in the last 20 minutes this news went live, that Mr. Satoru Iwata, who's been the president and CEO of Nintendo for a long time now, has passed away. And it's crazy. It's unbelievable news. I am still struggling to process this. I don't even know if it's better that I'm making the video so soon after hearing it, or if it's worse that I'm making the video so soon. I don't want to spend a lot of time. It's a super downer piece of news, and I don't want to be sad. I don't want to try to capitalize on a tragedy or anything like that. I'm not even monetizing this video, just so you know. I have no problem sharing that with you. That's something that I'm not like... I'm not like really holding anyone else to those standards. Like, I don't think that's really a bad thing to do. Anyone who may make a video about this who does monetize, it's just my own personal thing. I'm choosing not to. And you know, this is probably the millionth video you're going to see about this piece of news by the time this goes live anyway. So, but yeah, that's what happened. Satoru Iwata died. He passed away. He's 55 years old. You know, health complications. We've all heard rumors about health issues the past 2 years or so. I remember when 2 years ago, I think the first year that Nintendo didn't do the live event, so 2013 for E3, he elected to stay home, to stay back in Japan for health reasons, because he didn't really feel well enough to travel at that time. We all know he kind of, healed, or definitely got much better after that, because I think he did make it in 2014. I could be wrong. And he's been up and about. He was at the investors meeting. Gosh, just like 2 weeks ago, he was at that investors meeting. And I don't really know what concrete details there are as far as exactly what illness he had. 55 is pretty young. So definitely wasn't old age, anyway, I don't really want to get too much into that. Really, the reason I wanted to make a video was actually to discuss. I just want to celebrate him really quickly. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long. I just want to celebrate the fact that I think Iwata was an amazing visionary in gaming. I think he did. It's so sad. This is so crazy sad to talk about this, you guys. It just keeps hitting me every time I start a sentence about, remembering him. And it's like, God, like that guy just passed away. And we've known him as the face of Nintendo for over a decade, He's made... Obviously, he wasn't perfect, No one for any one company in the gaming world is perfect, or in any company, I should say, regardless of the industry. Satoru Iwata was no exception, but he obviously, without question, did much more good than he did bad. And by bad, I just mean, maybe not perfect business decisions, which you can't fault anyone. Again, no human is perfect, and he is just like any other person. He changed the face of the industry more the last 10 to 15 years than any one individual. Yes, Nintendo as a company is what kind of changed the face of gaming, but a lot of it was his decision, and decisions that were made under his regime as the acting CEO of Nintendo of Japan, of Nintendo as a whole company. We think about Reggie, who's the president of Nintendo of America, but he reports to Iwata. Iwata has been the king. He is like the guy. Yes, he has bosses too, but as far as Nintendo, like the public face of Nintendo and all these decisions that has defined that company, he's the one responsible for it for the most part, and we have nothing but thanks to give him. So that's what I'm making this video for, is to tell Iwata, thank you for everything you've done. You've made amazing decisions. You've changed how we played games. You've changed how we looked at games. You've changed how developers and other people within the industry have approached creating games, and what sort of formats they want to make games in, and how we control and interact with our games. The Nintendo DS was his baby. Using 2 screens to play a video game, his decision. Using a touchscreen, his decision. Motion control with the Wii remote and the Nintendo Wii, his decision. And that completely infected the industry. A lot of people forget about this. I've heard some YouTubers talk about this before. It was a great point where the DS was the genesis, the birth of touchscreen gaming, which is so common in our smartphones today and in our iPhones and all these things. That was Nintendo did that first. And a lot of people, I think, forget about that, but it was the DS that created that. That's an amazing revolution that branched well outside of just the gaming industry and infected I hate, infected, it affected, I should say, like the larger world at hand. Probably the most used device in the history of mankind, simply by volume, are smartphones. And that Nintendo DS technology and just that innovative way of creating hardware and gaming was created when he and Nintendo decided to make the Nintendo DS. And we're like, when they thought, what is another way that we can play games? What is a way that we can change the face of gaming? Or as they said back in that time in 2004, disrupt the way games are played and created and viewed. And that was amazing, and obviously we know the revolution that was the Wii and motion control. Obviously some people like motion control, some people don't. And, your opinion on that is completely irrelevant here, because what is unquestionable is the impact that it had on gaming, and the positive impact that it had on gaming. I mean, obviously, Sony tried to adapt to that with the Move, and Microsoft tried with the Kinect, and it was all to varying results, obviously. But the fact that it changed the way everyone is trying to make games, and still does to this day, is pretty huge, man. And it really just comes down to Iwata was a visionary, and I love the DS, I love the Wii, I love the Wii U, I love my 3DS, and the advent of glassesless 3D. Hell the fuck oh, how awesome is that? When you really think about it, that's amazing. That it's an affordable way for us to be able to do that right in our pockets. And all these things I think are great. And I think that they've made gaming better. Despite some of the weird and maybe not awesome business decisions Nintendo and Iwata have made over the years, like I said at the beginning of this video, there have been far more amazing, revolutionary, game-changing decisions made because of that man and because of that company that I think it far outweighs some of the bad ones, And like I said, hey, no company's perfect. You can look at Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sega back in the day, Apple back in the day. All of these companies have had many periods throughout their histories of bad business decisions and low points and not being profitable, not being successful, not being viewed positively within your own respective industry. That happens to everybody. Some of them right now even. And so, yes, there's been some rocky roads for Nintendo under Iwata's regime, and at the risk of sounding redundant, it just doesn't matter because the good far outweighs the bad. And I think that's the most important thing to say. The gaming industry, all of us, all of you, myself, we owe him such a debt of gratitude. Even if you don't like Nintendo, even if you don't like their hardware, their games, even if you didn't like Iwata, it is without a possibility for you to not still respect what he did. And respect him as a man and as a human being. Yes, we knew him as the face of a big company, so, we can crack these jokes and talk about the good and talk about the bad and make big issues out of the way things play out. But the way it's happening right now, he's just a man. And he's a man, and his family and that company are going through something really hard right now that deserves respect. And I think he deserves our admiration, And I mean, I love the guy. I think he did such great things. Like I said, I have nothing but respect for him, And like, even through the rocky roads and the poor decisions, he was always still our Iwata. He was our Nintendo guy. And I've held that pretty close for a long time. And it's the kind of thing you don't realize until something like this happens. And you can take for granted that somebody is around until they're not around anymore. And we're just a consumer of his product. We're not his family. We're not his coworkers and the people who relied on him as a man and as a business leader every day. So for any of you out there who are sharing my issues of being really sad about this, think about the people who are even closer to him. This is a hard thing, and he just happened to be a public figure, so this happens to be public news that he passed away. So I don't want to ramble on anymore. I'm just going to leave it with this, rest in peace, Satoru Iwata. You were awesome, man. I so appreciate everything you've done. And I think that you have changed the gaming industry for the better, without question. Everything you've done was amazing. And we all owe you a huge debt of gratitude. It means a lot to us that you ran one of the biggest companies in gaming and my personal favorite company, in gaming this last 15 or 20 years. However, I don't know how long he was running the company, but it means a lot to us and it means a lot to me. So I just want to say for myself, thank you. You will be missed. The future of the company, I'm sure, will be fine. It'll be very interesting to see how the business side of Nintendo changes moving forward, but it's way too early to think about that. We're going to give it a little bit of time. Hopefully most other people give it a little bit of time. Like I said, I know that there's probably 1,000 videos you can find on this topic today, and I'm just another one to add to that. But this is important, I'm doing this for myself. Like I said, this isn't for the channel. This isn't for, like, you know, the 10 cents per click I might get on a video if I monetize it, or it's not for any of that stuff. Again, I'm not even faulting anyone who does do that. I mean that. My personal thing, I just wanted to make this video discussing this man who I thought was great, you know. Even though he messed up a little bit, you know, every once in a while, I still thought he was great. So that's it, you know. Thanks, Iwata. You're going to be missed. Hopefully everyone else can do with this information what they will, and no one's too terribly sad about it. I hope people are nice and respectful, because we know the internet sometimes isn't that way, even in the face of real tragedy. So, you know, if you see any of that stuff and it's not for you, just ignore it. You know, I recommend not getting into fights or battles if any of that stuff plays out, you know. That drama is not necessary here. This is a bigger deal than that. So, you know, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my thoughts and my thank yous and my celebration of Iwata and all the amazing things that he did and that he gave us, you know, and gave me within my favorite hobby. And you guys can, I guess, grieve in your own way if that's what you're into doing, and whatever, you know. So us nerds, we lost something pretty huge today, and I think it sucks. So thanks again for watching, guys, and, you know, good luck processing the rest of this news, and I'll see you guys next time on hopefully a much happier video.